Hello there everybody, Sam's Trades here, welcome back to the Railway and welcome back to another review. Up to date I've got what I used to consider one of Hornby's best ever locos, except now it's available at a truly fantastic bargain price. So stay tuned, here it comes. So the lovely loco in question today is this. It is the Hornby J15 locomotive, and even from the outside of the box you can just tell what a lovely little tender locomotive this one is, and that's before you've even got the thing out and seen the level of detail and the wonderful performance. It's been a really long time since I've looked at one of these, but from what I remember they are really decent. Now the RRP for these is £127.50, which is okay. I think we've seen worse, but it's not exactly a bargain. However, Hattons have a few variants of these in stock for just £79, which is a massive discount, absolutely crazy. And if you want to pick one up for that amazing price, I will include a link in the description. As I say, it's been a really long while since I've looked at one of these. However, the price seems amazing, and like I say, from what I remember, the quality is fantastic. Just like the brand new shirts that I have in stock, they say on the front, I'm not a train enthusiast, only to reveal on the back that I am a model train enthusiast. They're now available in adult and child sizes. They make quite an amusing thing to wear at a model railway exhibition, or perhaps even at a real railway, just to let people know where you stand. I've also got some new mugs in stock as well, 2020 Sam's Trains mugs, so if your old one's getting a little bit manky now, it might be worth updating it and supporting the channel while you're at it as well. Okay, let's get the J15 out then and find out what this is like. So yes, the Hornby J15. This is just one of those locos that I loved from the moment I saw it. They're not brand new or anything like that. They've been around, I think, for around 5 years, something like that. Although, as we're going to see, the features and the detail is pretty modern, I would say. But yeah, just look at this. Such dainty little attractive locos, aren't they? Really small as well, by the way. So if you like tiny locos, this is definitely one to look out for. Let me show you the version I have then. So mine is R3380. It's an LNER class J15 and it's number 7510, and as you can tell, mine's in the LNER black, although there are quite a few nice variants out there, as I've already said. Some of them have the red coupling rods, which I like very much. I think that looks great. Okay, let me show you the back of the box then. So you can see the classification there, which was either a 1P or a 2F. So they're certainly not powerful locos. That's definitely not what they were intended to be, but lovely, as I say. In the centre there, you can see we have a brief history of the class. Feel free, as always, to pause and read that, although I will give you some history of the J15s in a sec. And then on the far end, the most interesting part, as always, is the line drawings there. They're dated from 2014, so that gives you a rough age of the, or at least of the design of the model. Yeah, great little drawings, those, actually. They look fantastic. Okay, well, I'm actually really eager to revisit this and see whether my memories of this model are accurate to it. So let's have a look. Let's take off the sleeve. Oh, there it is. Look at that. I think it might even be slightly smaller than the image on the front of the box, although maybe not. I think they're supposed to be to scale, aren't they? Yeah, there's just something about the proportions of the loco and also the size of the tender as well, which is just really attractive, and I know a lot of people feel the same as well. I don't know if I've already said this, but there is one feature of this loco that I've not talked about yet, which I can remember, and just makes the price of £79 astonishing. Anyway, we have the operating and maintenance instructions here for the Class J15. Let's have a look inside here. They do show off a little bit about the mechanism. You don't really get to see the chassis very well. Either way, you learn about lubrication there, fitting the accessories if that's something you want to do. There is a close coupling option for this. Body removal, which is important for servicing and fitting the decoder, and it shows you how to do that over there on the right hand side. And then on the back, there's a bit about fitting the brake rods as well. So that's cool. Yeah, worth holding on to that, I would say. Right, let's get this out then and figure out what this is like. There's a hefty detail bag, actually. No surprises what's inside it. I think we've just seen mostly, haven't we? So let's take a quick look. So quite obviously, yeah, we've got the brake rigging there, as you can tell. There's a spare NEM pocket there, which presumably goes in the front of the loco, and there's a coupling to go along with it. And besides that, it looks like it's just buffer beam detailing. There's a vacuum pipe I can see there. Only one though, so maybe the one is already fitted. No, maybe not. Maybe the front doesn't have one. I don't know. Anyway, let's get this out and find out what it's like. Here we go. Good packaging, as you can see. Lots of foam to protect the loco. And here it is. Now, the first thing, I'd forgotten this entirely, but the first thing I've just noticed lifting that up is the massive weight of this Loco. And the reason, you can say it with me if you like, is the massive amount of diecast on this Loco. The running plate is made of thick metal, and also the entire boiler is made of metal as well. And the smoke box is as well. The smoke box door isn't, but yeah, this weighs an awful lot. I will have to weigh it for you so that you can get a sense of the weight. But besides the massive weight and the obvious quality that comes with the diecast body, look at it, look at it. The level of detail is astonishing. It's not the best in the world. I've seen better, you know, released in 2019, 2020, but for £79, come on, this is wonderful. Man, and it's great quality as well. I mean, I'll talk a little bit about some of the other features, but just wait till you hear about it, man. It's one of the best, got to be. Okay, so I will give you a little bit of history on the J15s as promised, and once I've done that, I will show you some of the details up close. So the J15, initially known actually as the GER Class Y14, was a class of 289 060 steam locomotives built to the design of T.W. Worsdale between 1883 and 1913. These versatile little tender engines were suitable for both passenger and freight duties, and they were so successful that they continued to be built for many, many years, hence the large number built, and hence of course their continued popularity long into the 20th century. The class supposedly holds a world record for the quickest locomotive build time ever. One was built in just 9 hours and 47 minutes, supposedly, back in 1891, a record that apparently has never been beaten. In 1923, the class would of course pass into LNER ownership, where they would be reclassified to J15 as we now know them. Due to their tiny size and lightweight, they remained invaluable locomotives as they were able to traverse basically all parts of the railway network without restrictions. Very sadly, all but one member of the class was scrapped, the remainder being number 65462, and it's based at the North Norfolk Railway. So there it is, Hornby's J15 up close and personal for you. I just think the prototype is such a beautiful locomotive, and Hornby's rendition of it just represents that so beautifully. So we'll get to the level of detail in just a second. First of all though, I have weighed this. It weighs in at 230 grams, which actually for a Loco of this size, I mean, here's my hand, don't forget that this is a tiny little Loco, is very, very impressive. It's more than the Drummond 700 class from Hornby, which, well, not a huge Loco, it is certainly larger than this, and it's quite a lot more than the 52XX from Hornby, which is a gigantic tank engine. Yes, that heavy die-cast metal firebox, boiler and smoke box and running plate really do bring the Loco a lot of weight, and as we'll see later on, a lot of pulling power as well. It's not just the weight that it brings though. If you look closely at the boiler, you can see we really do have that lovely metallic sheen, which plastic just does not bring. We've also got no nasty parting lines visible on the main parts of the body there, which is great to see. It makes the Loco look very, very realistic, that, and certainly not like a plastic toy. One of the downsides is we do have a noticeable join here where the body appears to connect with the chassis. Yes, that is quite conspicuous. At least it is low down and out of the way though, so if you're looking down on the model from above, you're not really going to notice that. So the metalwork is fantastic. It's very rare that you see quite this much metalwork on a locomotive, a model one, mind you, not real one. Particularly one that is this inexpensive. The level of detail is a little bit less metallic though. Most of the details have been just done in plastic, which is a little bit of a shame because a lot of it doesn't have the metallic finish that it should maybe in real life. The whistle and safety valves here are, I think, made of metal. They do definitely feel like metal to the touch, or at least the safety valves do. But as you can see, unfortunately, they've been painted with a metallic paint rather than just made out of a metallic looking metal. Hopefully that actually makes some sense. Yeah, they look like they're made of plastic basically, which is a shame because they're not. Is that a clack valve there on the side of the boiler? Again, I believe that is just made of plastic, and it shows, doesn't it? It doesn't have a metallic finish. And also the reversing rod on the other side there is quite clearly made of plastic, and there's a little bit of unfortunate flashing around that as well, which obviously is a bit detrimental to the realism of the model, which in general though isn't too bad. The level of detail is really quite nice. We've got this lovely pipework underneath the cab, as you can see. In fact, before I start talking about the pipework and details and such, I better talk about the decoration before I forget. So yeah, the decoration's minimal, obviously, as per the prototype, but we do have the large LNER font running number on the side of the cab there, which is beautifully applied. Over the centre splasher, we've got the tiny little builder's plate. It's not extra or anything like that, it is just tamper printed on, and I'll try and get a close-up of that so that you can see how well done that is. The front buffer beam as well is nicely painted up. You can see we have the running number duplicated on there, and also the buffer housings are painted separately as well, or probably just separately fitted, made of a different material, but that looks great, doesn't it? The cab detail, I guess, is considered part of the decoration. The cab is very good, but we have seen better. Quite a few parts in there are separately fitted. We've got that wheel there. I'm not sure what that would be. It could be, I don't know, could be a brake, I would expect. Looks like maybe the regulator's separately fitted as well. The paintwork's not the best inside there. As you can see, the gauges have just been left blank, and also the water gauges and stuff aren't made of that transparent acrylic. They are just solid painted gold. Not a very realistic cab. We have seen much worse, of course, but obviously due to how exposed that cab is, a little extra detail inside there might have been nice. However, we do have separately glazed windows, as you can see, which are nice and flush with the outside of the body, which is very realistic. The roof of the cab isn't a perfect fit either, though. As you can see, if I get the level of the camera just right, you can see we do have a bit of daylight showing there. There's a very noticeable gap. Not the most realistic thing in the world, but again, you have to be at quite a specific angle to notice it. But once you have noticed it, it's quite difficult to forget. Underneath the boiler, you can see we do have a rudimentary attempt at modelling some valve gear down there. It's not the best, it's not painted or anything like that, and it certainly doesn't move or anything, but it is nice that when you cast your eye down underneath the boiler, it isn't just a flat surface. It is relatively realistic in that sense. The model is complete with lots of separately fitted handrails, as you can see, and lamp irons as well, fitted to the top of the smoke box and also the running plate. The smoke box door is made of plastic, but it does have the separately fitted smoke box dart there. The buffers are made of metal and they are sprung, look at that, so the model is pretty premium in terms of its level of detail. The wheel set is beautiful as well. Not only have we got those ultra fine coupling rods, we also have the covered axles, which are nice and realistic, and they've actually used the metal nature of the axle to their advantage here, because there are little holes, as there would be in the real life, in the centres of the wheels, which show the axles. Maybe that's the size of the axles in real life, I'm not sure. No, probably not actually. That would make them really flimsy, wouldn't it? Okay, so this is how the Loco and tender were coupled straight out of the box. This is not the close coupling option, but as you can see, the gap between Loco and tender isn't that egregious. The sort of full plate on the Loco almost reaches the tender. As it is, it's certainly not a huge gap. Obviously, if you were to engage the close coupling, it might struggle on second radius curves. I'm not sure what curves it's rated for on the close coupling. It will do second, by the way, as it comes in the box. But obviously that close coupling option does allow you to run the Loco more realistically if you do have a layout that can support it. The tender itself is one of the nicest tenders. It's really, really tiny. The decoration's great. As you can see, we've got the LNER printed onto there. Very, very nice. It's quite a glossy print as well, which looks great. The underframe's nicely detailed as well. Most of the detail there is just moulded on, but you can clearly see the axle boxes and the various springs and such. You've got nice metal wheels with sort of black plastic centres, I think, or they could be painted, it's not entirely clear. They look nice and realistic and quite inconspicuous too, which is nice. The coal load looks fantastic. It's very realistic the way it sort of spills backwards there onto the surface of the tender. It is removable as well too, so if you wanted to get rid of that, you could do. And look at this, the area where the tender joins to the cab of the Loco is very well detailed as well. You've got all those various brake handles, handrails. Really quite impressive. Around the back you can see we do have these very nice looking guard irons, which are very finely moulded actually. More handrails, more lamp irons, and we do have a NEM coupling pre-fitted to this model on the back, as you can see, which is nice and flexible for you. Of course, you can change that for anything you'd like. So overall, I mean, we've seen better detailed Locos for sure, but have we seen better detailed Locos for less than £79? I'm not too sure. Obviously, you have to consider the RRP as well. It's not that relevant to you guys because you can pick them up for £79 if the versions that Hattons have appeal to you. For £127.50, I would say this is just okay. For £79, it's an absolute bargain, and I'm seriously considering buying another one. So get over there and beat me to it if you want one. Okay, let's get on to performance then. If the metal construction and the level of detail wasn't enough to put this above the likes of Bachmann and other manufacturers, the performance and the mechanism certainly are. So let's get it down onto the track and I'll talk about those a while. So there it is then, the beautiful Hornby J15 down onto the track, ready for its test. The mechanism, to be perfectly honest with you, is incredible. I'm going to go out there and say I don't think I've ever seen a better mechanism. I don't even know where to start. First of all, every single wheel on the model has pickups, including the tender. Good evening, Backman. Nice to see you here. No, it's all right, Backman. That's okay. Your models don't have that, but at least they are cheap to buy, aren't they? Oh, wait. Onto the Loco itself then, let's take a look underneath the hood. As you can see, we have dual flywheels, 2 flywheels, good evening Backman, not 1 flywheel, but 2, that's amazing, and a 5-pole motor. And look at this, Hornby are just showing off. Look, they've labelled the number of poles on there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're all there. Amazing, amazing quality. Hornby have also given some thoughts to the serviceability of the model. They haven't just focused on getting these built and out of the factory as quickly and as cheaply as possible. They've actually made it easy to take care of the Loco. So look at this, 3 screws undoes the base. It comes away with no fragile wires to damage or anything like that. Good evening, Helgen, nice to see you. No, it's okay, Helgen, it's all right. Your Locos might not have that, but they are cheap to buy, aren't they? Oh wait, and as you can also see, we have the full set of metal bearings on the wheel set there. Just the quality is out of this world. All kidding aside, mechanisms like this, Hornby should be incredibly proud of them. They are just wonderful. And it really shows with this Loco, or at least it did when last I ran it. Watch this, I'm going to turn this up and demonstrate the slow speed. It really does put the other manufacturers to shame. It really does. There we go, I think we are crawling there. You can't tell, but it is moving perfectly smoothly. And of course it's not going to cut out because it's got 6 pickups going to each line. Look at that for a slow crawl, folks. I've never seen a better performance. I think up until now, the Backman 25 was my best performer. It's this one now. Look at that. No stalling, no nothing. And watch this, because of those 2 flywheels, I'm going to bring it into shot at 50% speed and suddenly cut the power. Watch the way it decelerates. Ready? Cut the power. Oh, that is just wonderful. It gives me shivers right down the spine. It is amazing. It's a masterclass in Loco mechanism design. And like I say, it puts the other manufacturers to shame. And in such a tiny Loco, it's all the more impressive. It just demonstrates that no matter how tiny a Loco may be, there's no excuse for poor mechanisms. There's just no need for it. Okay, so I've set up 4 LNER coaches for this Loco to haul. They did do passenger and freight. It's not a terribly powerful Loco. I measured that this should be able to haul around 14 coaches on straight and level track. Obviously with curves and gradients it would be quite a lot less. But let's set this into reverse and go couple to them. And I'll just show you what she looks like with some coaches. It's just such a pleasure to run. And this is on DC, folks. We haven't got any excellent decoder inside here that's just managing the motor well. Nope, this is running straight off my Gauge Master controller. There we are, coupling, no problem. Look at that crawl, man. Crawl is just incredible. There we go. And at any speed you like, it's going to do it perfectly. I challenge a real J15 to crawl as well as that, seriously. There we go. Stunning. Okay, and then on the inside line we have a 060, a similar 060 from Backman. And just to put this into perspective for you, this Loco currently, it's the C-Class by the way, has an RRP of, I think it's around £200, alright? And for that price you get plastic Loco boiler, smoke box, firebox, you do have the metal running plate, no tender pickups, 3-pole motor, no flywheels. Doesn't look so good for Backman, does it? And that's because they ain't that good. Nope. Hornby's mechanisms above and beyond, very much so. And then on the inside line, another fantastic mechanism. Again, far, far more inexpensive than most of the other manufacturers. It's the Oxford Dean Goods, of course. I think this has got it's got a 5-pole motor. It has, I think, got a flywheel, could be wrong. But again, it's got all tender pickups, all Loco pickups, and the performance, yet again, you wouldn't believe it, but actually a good mechanism does actually improve the performance. I would never have guessed. But yeah, the performance on that Loco is, again, second to none. I just think when Locos cost what they do, a decent mechanism isn't too much to ask for, and Locos like this prove it, and for that I'm very glad. And I would say part of the key to this Loco's success, what makes this perform better than other Locos, even if they do have equally good mechanisms, it is the gearing. That is at 50% speed there, and as you can see, it's a very, very pleasant speed. It's not racing along. Some Locos at 50% speed go way quicker. I mean, the Oxford Dean Goods there is at 50% speed, and you can see how much faster that is. Yeah, it's a very nice, realistic speed, and of course, it favours those slow crawls. The necessity of this Loco to be able to race along isn't that great. Although if you shove it up to 100% speed, sure, it'll go a little bit quicker. It's just very, very sensibly designed, very competent. Don't forget too to see which other 060 tender engines you can spot on the layout today. There are quite a few of them, so let me know in the comments what you see, and there is an odd one out too, so if you spot that, well done, let me know what it is. Oh, almost missed the J15 there. I'm actually incredibly glad I've decided to revisit this J15. I didn't really realise when I initially bought mine how good it was. Obviously I just lacked the experience to spot a truly wonderful Loco when one came along. And of course they weren't £79 when I bought mine, they were more than that. Wow, £79. Like I say, I might buy another, I might. So if you can't tell already, I'm incredibly fond of this Loco and the design that went into it, just incredible really. So here are some of my ratings then. The level of detail I've given just 4-star. Really the level of detail is pretty good. Plenty of separately fitted parts, the decoration is absolutely fine, and the Loco body is largely made of metal, which is fantastic. There are a couple of areas where I would mark it down slightly. The cab detail I think ought to have been maybe a little bit better, and some of those separately fitted parts would have looked better if they were made of metal, but those are relatively minor gripes to be honest, but I have just knocked 1 star for those. The performance, I don't think I have to explain this category at all. I've given it 5-star, amazing slow speed, incredibly smooth due to those dual flywheels, really, really fantastic. The pulling power was okay as well. 14 coaches I measured, as a result of it, 0.18 newtons of tractive effort. That's not really that high, it's a little bit lower than the Drummond 700 class, despite this being a slightly heavier model, but overall it's not too bad. The mechanism is just amazing. 5-pole motor, dual flywheels, proper metal bearings, all-wheel pickup. It's just the gold standard. When I say that, I really do mean it. Amazing, amazing mechanism. The quality, similarly, is 5-star. The mechanism is superb quality. The build quality is fantastic, no glue marks in sight whatsoever, and all that metal work, the metal firebox, the metal running board, the metal boiler, smoke box, it's really, really impressive. I really love this one. 5-star quality, definitely. Value for money, obviously for just £79, that is 5-star all the way, but I have to consider the RRP as well, as I always do, so I've given that just 4-star. I would have said the RRP of £127.50 is just okay. Obviously you do get a fantastic quality model for that money. Can you put a price on that? Well, I guess you can, £127.50. Yeah, the value is pretty good. Overall then, that is 8.73 out of 10. That's a very strong score, particularly for a Loco that's a few years old now. Into the logbook it goes. There it is, 5th top 5, above the Bachmann Class 25 and below the Hornby Fowler 4P. Great model. Links below. If you want to pick one up, I can highly recommend it. Well folks, I feel as though I'm struggling to say enough about how much this one has impressed me. The level of detail is pretty good, it's up there, but if performance is your thing, and I'm not just saying this, it ain't no hyperbole, it's probably, like I say, the best performer I've ever seen. Absolutely wonderful. And some people value performance very, very highly. If you're one of those people, this is a model for you, for sure. Anyway folks, thank you very much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Yeah, I'd forgotten how good this one was, I really had. Thanks for your company then folks, you take care, and I'll see you very, very soon for another review. Alright, look after yourselves folks, see you next time.